What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another movie review. I'm Chase Lee, reviewing for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and the movie I want to take a look at right now is Honey Boy. Now, this one comes from Amazon Studios. It is directed by har'el, and this one tells the story of young Otis, who is a child actor, and he brings his dad along on set because you have to when you're under the age of 18 in Hollywood if you are an actor. So his dad kind of goes with him on set, talks with him, kind of helps him out if he's having trouble with certain scenes. He kind of acts like his manager when people ask and everything. And so when they're done with set or whatever they're doing for that day on set, they go back to their motel room where we get to see kind of an inside look at their relationship and how helpful his dad can be at certain points, how abusive his dad can be at certain points, how his dad is really reliant on alcohol and how, his father was relying on alcohol and just how it can affect people like that. It's just, we get to see behind closed doors, if you will, because when people see, actors, out and about doing their thing, it's like, oh, that's really nice and stuff. And then when they, get inside of a room and we get to see the relationship that they have with people in their family, sometimes it can be devastating and we don't really know that. And so this is what we get, that inside look. Now, this is written by Shia LaBeouf, and this is based on his actual life when he was a child actor, when he was doing stuff like Even Stevens and, a couple of like other smaller movies and stuff before he kind of broke out. He was with his dad on all these excursions, and we get to see his life. And, he was willing to write a script about this and let us see the troubles and the painful memories that he had, and that's not really easy to do on anyone's part. I commend him very, very greatly on that. It's just he's got more guts than me. If my childhood was like that, I would be very wary on bringing it to the big screen. But regardless of what I think about this movie, I think that's extremely awesome and brave of him to tell his story like that. So in the movie, Noah Jupe plays Otis, aka Shia LaBeouf, when he was 12, and Shia LaBeouf is actually playing his father. So that is also interesting when you're watching this. And Lucas Hedges plays an older version of Shia LaBeouf beyond his childhood years when he was in rehab. So a lot of different moving parts here. So going into this movie, I was expecting a lot because I heard a lot of great things from film festivals. Shia LaBeouf is a really great actor, and so I've always loved seeing him, in his range, whether it be, stuff like in the Transformers movies or, experimental stuff like Nymphomaniac or, stuff like Lawless. Like, he's a really great actor, and a lot of people don't give him credit because of his antics outside of his career. Now, he's done some stuff. I'm not saying that he's perfect. He has been arrested on, I think, public intoxication. He's even plagiarized, which I hate people that do that. So I really had a huge problem with him then when he did. I have a problem with it now, but I can forgive. And that's also kind of one of the themes that he is portraying in this movie is forgiveness and stuff. And so, he's done some stuff. He's not perfect, but I still wanted to see him, pour his soul on the page. And I think he did that. I really like this movie quite a bit. I don't really necessarily know if I love it. When I walked out of the movie, I was like, I really like that. There's a lot of great things about that, and the screenplay and performances are real contenders for award season. But I don't know if I love it. And so let's kind of talk this out. This movie is like watching a therapy session, so I'm going to treat this like a therapy session. Let's talk about this movie and see where I end up. So you gotta start with Shia LaBeouf. This is his life story, and so you have to start with the script. And watching this movie was like watching a therapy session. It was therapeutic. It was cathartic. It was like Shia LaBeouf was lifting all these weights off of his shoulders and really setting himself free in a way. It was very, very there was something calming about it, where what I was watching was painful to watch. It was really earnest. It was honest in the way it portrays addiction. It's brutal at times. It's mentally draining, and there's a lot of stuff about it that made it seem like this relationship was toxic. And there was some stuff about it that was good, and his dad would give good advice. They had fun when they played card games, and there was some connection there that they had that was really sweet and really endearing. But his father was fighting demons, and the alcoholism just takes over him, and he can't escape it. And so there are painful things about this movie that happen, and you're sitting there going, I can't believe that Shia LaBeouf was willing to throw this on the page like this and really kind of pour his heart out. And there is soul and there's body to this script. The dialogue is meaty, it's important, it's the type of stuff that commands your attention, and it's just a really well written script. The characters are fleshed out, they have a lot of depth to them. It portrays stuff in a very raw and honest way, and there's a lot of monologue scenes that are really kind of powerful to listen to, because like I said, this is a father that treats his son well, to a point where like he gives him advice and like he has certain moments with him, but he is also fighting against him too. And it's just it's a really hard watch. And I think putting yourself out there like that into a script like this and making it as personal as it is, stuff like this can always come across as narcissistic or just really kind of self-inflating type of stuff. But there's a real story here, and if people are suffering abuse in like their relationship with their parents or like a relationship or whatever, this movie can kind of help with that in a way. So he is putting his story out there to, one, tell his upbringing, and then two, also help people that are also battling addiction and battling these mental health issues, and really kind of implore you to seek help. So there's a lot going on in this script, man, and I'm telling you, it's got a really good chance of a screenplay Oscar nomination. It's just that good. And then taking that screenplay, and what Alma Har'el did was kind of paint this picture. She took care of it. She didn't, change it in a way that just seemed not as genuine as it should. Like, there's so much care into it, and the way she directs these actors to really become these vulnerable human beings, and we get to see this emotional cracking of the father and the son and just people that they interact with. It's just, there's something so deeply human about it that Alma brings to the screen. Once again, taking the paint that Shia has given her, and she paints this wonderful, devastating, and kind of uplifting picture that just kind of tugs at your soul as a human. So she directs this thing with just with such class, and I absolutely loved the way she took on this material. Shia LaBeouf is fantastic in this. Really kind of portraying his father. When he is abusive, it's painful to watch. It's terrifying. When he's loving with his son, there is a charm to him that Shia has in real life that he kind of portrays in that, and it works. When he's breaking down in AA meetings, like, you feel it. Like, you feel that emotional harpoon hit to the heart. And you sit there and you feel so bad for this guy that's pouring his story out to these random strangers and say, like, my dad was abusive, he was an alcoholic, and having him break down and acknowledging that he has a problem, and then in the next scene, like, he's being verbally abusive towards his son. It's like, you want to seek help out for this gentleman, because you know that he can be a good father, and we've seen glimpses of that, and you just want to just go through the screen and help him as much as you can. And it's all due to that performance. Shia LaBeouf is absolutely wonderful in this movie. Noah Jupe is also great as young Otis. I have only seen him in one movie. I'm drawing a blank right now, but this gives me hope for his future. This solidifies it. He's wonderful. Lucas Hedges is always great. I don't need to comment on his acting. Even if he's in a mediocre movie or a subpar movie, like what I thought of, like Ben Is Back, for instance, he was still great, and he's great in this. There's because he's having to deal with rehab version of Shia LaBeouf, and that's really that's kind of hard to witness too, because this is a man that has lost everything and is looking for help, and that he is resisting rehab and he wants help, but he just finds it so stupid, and he's getting frustrated with the process, and I think he portrays that really well. There's a lot of anger and there's a lot of stuff brewing within him that it just explodes off onto the screen, and it's a really striking performance. So the acting in this movie, directing, screenplay, it's all fantastic. The only issue I really have with it is the ending kind of loses steam a little bit. There's a final interaction between Otis and his father. They say something and you're like, okay, like, that's interesting. It's, self-referential to the movie as a whole. And you're like, okay. And then like the next shot, they're exiting the conversation and then the movie just ends. I get that this is how it was going to probably happen because, Shia LaBeouf's life is still ongoing. This isn't like a type of ending that's like, caps off his entire life. It's just a very specific segment in time, and then it just kind of ends. But I don't know. I felt like the ending didn't have as much impact as, Shia on the screen or even Alma behind the camera. I don't know. There was just something about it that it felt a little empty, and I was like, I still like the movie overall, but there was just something about the way it ended, and it's an expected ending, but it still feels like it lost the final punch of the movie, and it kind of just floated off into the credits. And it's not a huge issue, but it's just something I wanted to bring up. Maybe on a rewatch I can get behind this, and maybe I'm struggling with it because it is a hard movie to watch, and it's a heavy movie. It's a therapeutic movie, and it's not something I want to pop in all the time. And maybe that's why I'm resisting like an A grade. But I did walk out just initially thinking, like, I really like this movie. I don't want to use the other L word. I don't want to say love quite yet. So I didn't feel that first initial viewing where I was like, man, I really love this movie. I was like, I really like this movie, and maybe on a rewatch I'll change my mind. But for right now, I'm gonna give Honey Boy a B+. So let me know what you thought about Honey Boy down below. If you did watch it, it is a very special movie. Congrats, Shia, for telling your story, because that is brave on your part, sir. So let me know down below what you thought of the movie and all of that stuff. So that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.